Welcome to Central News, I'm Hilary Entwistle. In today's news, applications close on the 7th of February for the Bay of Plenty Regional Council's Regional Infrastructure Fund. $38 million has been set aside over 10 years to partially fund chosen projects that promote sustainable regional economic growth or promote environmental protection and enhancement that supports sustainable regional economic development. General Manager of Strategy, Fiona McTavish, says they want to see applications from projects that show they're financially viable in the long term to ensure that any investment made is going to benefit the region.
The project that demonstrates regional economic growth, the project that demonstrates more jobs, more investment opportunities and increased productivity in the Bay of Plenty.
A 3-day workshop is being held in Tauranga aiming to enhance the bond and attachment between mothers and their babies. Secure Attachment Family Program is a preventative model appealing to first-time mothers. Founder of the FABS Trust, Augustina Dressen, says in her work with families, she has seen firsthand the significant impact of insecure attachment throughout a lifespan and how this is passed on between generations. She says any new mother attending the workshop will learn the importance of bonding with her child.
Well, I feel that the parents will be, because the fathers are coming as well, more confident and learning new skills and what it entails to allow the baby to reciprocate a secure attachment. That to us is the most important that they come with, and how do we do this, and they have learned that. And also the support from the group and the support from us, and knowing that we are there in the background, the availability from us.
Now for our region's weather for the weekend. Hamilton, your Saturday will be mostly fine with light winds and an expected high of 27 and an overnight low of 17. Tauranga, your Saturday, cloudy periods with northerlies. Your expected high is 25 and an overnight low of 19. Hamilton, Sunday, cloudy periods with light winds and an expected high of 27 and an overnight low of 19. Sunday for you, Tauranga, cloudy periods with patching morning drizzle, which is much needed, and northerlies. Your expected high is 25 and an overnight low of 20. Just ahead, we find out how the construction is going at Waikato Hospital. Welcome to Central News on TV Central. The Waikato Hospital has seen many changes over the last few years, but the construction developments are finally nearing the date of completion for now. Amy spoke with Ian to find out about the key developments taking place at present.
Yes, well, I'm the Program Director for Waikato DHB's Major Building Works, and I've been in that role since 2004 when the DHB implemented its business case for a $220 million revamp of its campus facilities at Hamilton and Thames.
Now, what are the main developments taking place around the Waikato Hospital at present?
There are two major building works currently still going. They started a few years ago. The big one is Mead Clinical Centre, and we're at stage 2 at the moment of that. So stage 2, in a few months, we'll be opening our new intensive care unit at level 4 of Mead Clinical Centre. A few months later, we'll be commissioning our theatres and the interventional floor. That's the floor with cath labs in it and like procedures that we all enjoy having. And then probably about April next year, radiology will be commissioned, a new radiology department, and that will see the completion of all construction works for Mead Clinical Centre. The other project, the one across the road from the main campus, is the Older Persons and Rehabilitation Building. That's a 113-bed, predominantly ward facility, although it does have outpatient facilities in it. And that's ready for occupation in probably the last week of June.
And what benefits will the new facilities bring to hospital staff and also the Waikato residents?
Well, all staff love new facilities. Usually, by now, they're working in facilities that were probably built early 1960s, so they're over 50 years old, old style, single corridors, toilets on the opposite side of the corridor, and so on. Today, of course, 50 years, 60 years later, we build hospital, well, particularly wards with en-suites. The corridors are a lot wider, a lot easier to support patients around them, and we have, of course, high-tech technology going into them. So the staff are going to see that, and they'll see all that not only in our ward building, but also in theatres, particularly in intensive care unit. It's a very high technology department. So that's what the staff are going to experience.
And over what time period has the construction taken?
Mead Clinical Centre started in February 2010, so by the time it's finished, just over 4 years. The older persons rehab service building commenced about November 2011, so that'll be just over 2 years.
Are you on track financially?
We are, actually, yes. In fact, the OP and RS building, very much on track financially. It's been a good project. The Hawkins, the builder, out of the Waikato Bay of Plenty region, spot on, doing everything that we asked of them. And Mead, because it was designed back in 2005, so it's had some iterations to keep up with the high technologies that have come in since and so on. It's been a very difficult building to build because A, of the time, and B, the technology that's going into it.
And have hospital staff had a say in what they require?
We can guide and lead, but at the end of the day, the staff have had all the say in what goes into it, the layouts, the type of facility we should have, the services that should be in the building. They've updated that. We have a program management office with the District Health Board whose responsibility it is to ensure that what we're building does meet the form they want. So I would say there have been 40 user groups, probably over 500 staff. Some staff have not wanted to participate, but that's fine. That's the way it works.
Oh, that is great. So they'll definitely enjoy the place that they work in.
Well, you'd hope so at the end of the day.
Now, tell us about the Smith building demolition.
Yes, the Smith building, designed in the 50s. It's, like I said before, a 9-storey single corridor. The ward's very old now, and it's due for demolition. In fact, the last service of a ward moves out tomorrow to their new facility. And Ward Demolition, who are the main demolition contractors in New Zealand, they've been contracted to demolish the building, and that commences next month.
And how much preparation for safety is involved?
We're up to our 5th, what we call methodology statement. This is to ensure that the building is demolished safely. We have wards surrounding it, and obviously we can't have any accidents occurring. And our major risk to services is the vibration of the huge nibbler that Ward will bring in.
Coming up, we find out about the big changes for a 140-year-old paper. Welcome back. The 140-year-old Bay of Plenty Times newspaper will have a new look soon for its weekday edition. March the 4th this year, the paper will change to a more compact format and be delivered by 6 a.m. I spoke with the editor to see what this all means.
On March 4, the Bay of Plenty Times will be transforming itself into a compact newspaper. And what this means is the physical size of the pages will be reduced. This will make them easier to handle and more convenient to read the product wherever you are. It's really important to remember that this does not mean that there will be fewer pages or less local content. On the contrary, there will in fact be more local pages and more local content in the new compact product compared with the current broadsheet version.
So how will this affect a reader?
It means that readers will be able to read the Bay of Plenty Times in a format that is going to be more, it'll make it a more pleasurable read. It means that readers won't have to deal with those larger, bulky broadsheet pages that they've had currently and in the past.
How are you hoping to achieve that greater emphasis on local content?
Yeah, through a number of ways. We have brought in some additional resource and redirected some existing resource to ensure that we make the most of local content. We have also changed the page flow of the paper to give more prominence to local news, views and issues. And local is our point of difference, so it's what we do best and what we'll be doing even better.
So A1, the front page will always be local?
Absolutely, the front page will be local. It will be the window into the paper. It will be high impact and interesting and hopefully catch people's eye.
What is consumer and data journalism, and how do you hope to put that greater emphasis on that?
Yeah, consumer journalism, is content that provides news and information about topics that are directly relevant to people's lives. This can be, journalism around goods and services, and the cost of living. And data journalism focuses on figures that, together with comments from experts and other people, it gives people a greater insight into trends and what is happening. A good example of this will be, crime data and figures and statistics from official bodies and organisations.
The paper will be delivered at 6 a.m. now. What does that mean for a reader?
Well, firstly, subscribers will be able to get their paper from their letterbox at 6 o'clock in the morning, and people will be able to buy their newspaper in the shops at 6 a.m. as well. Obviously, rural delivery might be slightly later than 6 a.m. What that means is that local news is going to be more timely, it's going to be more relevant and fresher in the morning for readers, and it's going to provide them with a way to start their day better informed, and they'll be able to start their day smarter about local news, views and issues.
Why are you making these changes?
For a number of reasons. First of all, reader feedback has been a big thing. We have conducted extensive surveys and received feedback from readers that they want their news to be more timely, they want it first thing in the day, they want it to be fresher. Secondly, there is a trend worldwide away from evening newspapers into morning newspapers, and for that reason. I think a huge reason is that with internet news, the news cycle is out of kilter at the moment, and we think it's really important to be bringing our readers unique content first thing in the day, and our website will be able to provide updates and cover breaking news later in the day.
Do you have to make staff changes for that?
As I said earlier, we are redirecting some current staffing, with providing some fresh focus for some staff, but no major changes in terms of the editorial staffing. We are bringing some extra writers and things on board. Obviously, with the delivery, we are moving from the traditional system of using paper kids towards using contractors, and this is a very simple health and safety issue. We could not have young people out in the morning delivering the paper, especially in winter, so that was a huge consideration, and we consulted paper kids on that and their parents.
And will your reporters be working through the night like the New Zealand Herald?
Our reporters will be working a variety of shifts throughout the day and throughout the night, just like every other morning newspaper does, and this ensures that we are able to prepare content throughout the day and obviously capture the latest news that happens later in the day and into the night.
Some say the printed newspaper is dying due to the immediacy of the internet. Has the Bay of Plenty Times made changes to their website?
We have overhauled our website recently, and we have made it a more engaging platform for readers, and it's easier to use, easier to navigate, and easier to upload information and get information from it. I think it's really important to note that newspapers in New Zealand are very strong. and we, every day and every week, hundreds of thousands of people are turning to newspapers as their trusted and reliable source of news and information. The Bay of Plenty Times remains very strong in this respect, and in terms of leading the Western Bay market, and that was reflected in our last audited readership survey, in which we grew our readership.
The Bay of Plenty Times is owned by the media company APN, and they unfortunately had a $319 million loss for the first half of last year. That unfortunately did result in job losses and cost cutting. Has the Times been affected by that?
Yeah, the Bay of Plenty Times is a division of a large media company, and we're required to stand on our own 2 feet as a company ourselves, and the Bay of Plenty Times is in a very strong position at the moment in the marketplace. Like many other businesses, in the Western Bay of Plenty, there are challenges. It's a very, very challenging environment economically, but we are constantly reviewing what we do, how we do it, and how we use our resources to ensure that we are operating as efficiently as possible and achieving the things that we need to achieve, and that we meet our reader and advertiser expectations.
The changes will come into effect on March the 4th, and the Bay of Plenty Times website is bayofplentytimes.co.nz. Just ahead, fluoride in the water. If you have just joined us, welcome to Central News. With councils seeking feedback from the public into the necessity of fluoride in our water, Felicity Dumble thought it was about time we all know the facts before making up our minds.
Well, fluoride is the 13th most common mineral that we find in soil and water naturally. In fact, in the Waikato River, the levels of fluoride are around 0.2 to 0.3 parts per million normally, and can peak as high as 0.6 parts per million. What fluoridation is where we top that fluoride level up to 0.7 parts per million.
So tell us, what are the benefits of fluoride in our drinking water?
Well, fluoride basically helps prevent decay and keeps teeth healthy and strong. It strengthens the enamel, reduces bacterial activity, and can even reverse some of the early stages of decay. The good thing about fluoridation and having it in your drinking water is that you get regular, frequent, low-level rinsing of the teeth with the fluoride.
And what evidence do you have to back this up?
Well, fluoridation is one of the most researched health issues ever, or just about. There's so much information out there, and we have a wealth of very reliable and relevant research and evidence that supports the safety and efficacy of fluoridation, i.e. that it works and it doesn't cause harm. It was recently looked at by the New Zealand Royal Society, and they came out strongly in support of fluoridation. It's also backed up by the health of our children's teeth. Through the school-based dental service, we get statistics on how their teeth are, their levels of decay, and we see that both here in the Waikato, but also nationally, children living in areas with fluoridation have less tooth decay than those living in areas without fluoridation.
So our toothpaste contains fluoride. Do we need both?
Oh, we absolutely need both, and we promote fluoridation as part of having fluoridation, regular toothbrushing with fluoridated toothpaste, and also a good diet, and that combination is the best way to keep your teeth healthy. It's important not to have too much fluoridated toothpaste, so that's why we recommend the small amount that we use on that basis. The other thing about fluoridation is it's readily and easily accessible to everybody. So it doesn't require any behavioural change.
Who does this most benefit?
Well, anybody with their natural teeth. So because the fluoride actually works both on unerupted teeth and erupted teeth, anyone with their natural teeth will get benefit no matter how old they are. The fact is, not only does everybody with their natural teeth benefit, but that benefit is greatest for Māori Pacific and for children who live in more deprived areas. And
is it safe? Is there any harm that can come from this?
There's no harm from fluoridated water at the levels that we maintain here in the Waikato and in New Zealand. We know that we monitor them closely, and the only difference we see between children living in fluoridated areas and non is that there's less decay in those living in the fluoridated areas.
So then why are some members of the public against fluoride in our water?
Well, with the internet, I mean, there's so much information out there, it can be very difficult to work out what is misinformation, what is is rumour, what is anecdotal. And also a lot of studies look at excessive exposures to fluoride, such as in countries where they have very, very high levels naturally, such as in China, and they would extrapolate that to fluoridation, and it's not relevant to the levels that we have here. One of the other things is with fluoridation, everybody on that reticulated water supply will be getting fluoridated water coming out of their tap. So there's some reduction in freedom of choice.
And if someone is opposed to having fluoride in our water, is there a way that they can individually opt out?
Individuals can buy filters, water filters that will remove that fluoride. Some people opt to use roof water and through a tank system. Getting a filter does cost that individual, but those sorts of costs are minimal compared to the cost saving that we achieve through reduced decay, less children needing general anaesthetics to have teeth extracted, and a reduction in pain and suffering.
So where can people find out more information to help make up their minds before they place their feedback?
Well, we would recommend that people talk to their dentist or their doctor about it. If they're concerned about their oral health or their general health, those would be the professionals that we'd suggest people refer to. There's also a number of websites that you can go to, such as nfis.org.nz, and also through the ministry website, so moh.govt.nz. Also on our DHB website, we have quite a lot of information for you that you can access, and we're happy to answer questions.
And what are other countries' perspective on this?
Well, around 56 countries already have naturally occurring fluoride in their water at levels 0.7 parts per million or higher, so they don't need to add fluoride to get that benefit. Around 60 countries have regions or areas where they do fluoridate. That includes the United States and Australia. In fact, the proportion of people in those countries who are receiving fluoridated drinking water is on the increase. In Australia, in parts of Australia, they've even mandated fluoride. So we know with hundreds of millions of people drinking fluoride that we've got the evidence that is safe and effective.
Is there a cost involved with adding the fluoride to our water?
For example, for Hamilton City Council, it costs around $40,000 a year to add the fluoride to the drinking water and to monitor that and make sure that safe levels are maintained. However, the savings in terms of avoided tooth decay and dental care and general anaesthetics well exceeds that. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars of savings, if not more.
Visit waikatodhb.health.nz/fluoride for more information. That is the news for today. We really want you to be involved, so like us on Facebook and let us know your views. If you have news including your own video and photos, go to our website and hit upload. Thanks for joining us. I will be back next week with more guests from in and around the regions. I'm Hilary Entwistle. Have a good weekend and a lovely evening.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.